Peace and light, light and peace. Welcome to the Oahspe College University, solution to yesterday's ancient knowledge. Topic of discussion today is going to be one of the most controversial one I've ever put up on the Oahspe College University YouTube video. What does Oahspe say about marriage? Now, today's topic is not to bash what you believe in or what you follow. Please do not shoot the messenger. I am only pointing out, based on the spiritual guideline of what Oahspe had written. The book was launched in the year 1882 by going through the libraries of heaven and picking up information about what some prophets have said or some culture that followed the Creator, and they wrote down what they know about marriage. So I'm just gonna go to the Oahspe for a minute by starting with the Book of Divinity, chapter 2, verse 13. Verse 13, the deed decreed to establish wedding rites and ceremony with words and processions in order to firmly bind monogamic marriages according to the Zoroastrian law, the Oahspean law, and the Oahspean law. You notice how he says monogamic marriage? So basically that's really just one-time marriage. So there's no multiple marriages. So this Book of Divinity chapter 2 verse 13 is really against multiple marriages. It says monogamic. It didn't say multiple. It didn't say binomial marriages. You see? This is very interesting. Now there's a secret here, in which I'm going to explain here. One of the reasons the Faithists, or the Israelites, the people who follow the Creator, they call them Faithists, they wanted monogamic marriages. They did not want darkness to come upon their seed. So, and the amazing thing is that they tend to use DNA angels with what we call masters of generation to help them procure a female. Most of them are usually they have an iron blood. Okay. Now, so if a seed that produces darkness gives birth, that's a problem in heaven, because what's going to happen is that you still have to raise that seed in heaven toward light. And I think this is not think this. I know this is why they had humans on earth marry with someone who had the spiritual light in them, and then they can produce seed. I personally cannot even say if this information is true as of the year 2023, because everywhere you go you see darkness. Okay, all over. And another keynote is that if you see a city that is more than 6,000 people, you cannot. That's like a city. That's ours right there. That's darkness. So actually did give note and made explanation about making sure your city or the town or village you live in does not go more than 6,000 people dwelling in that. If they do, then you have to move or procure another city. The book of Akaban, chapter 9, verse 31 to 32. What is Zoroastrian's fatherhood and motherhood? Verse 32. To have only one wife, to have only one husband, to maintain sacred the maternal period. Now, this one here, book of Akaban, chapter 9, verse 31 and 32, this is deep. Verse 32 is very deep. To have only one wife and to have only one husband. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. That no way, But I'm just, teaching from the Oahspe and saying this is what Oahspe say. That's up to you, and that's between you and your Creator. If you don't believe in it and you don't practice it, And then another keynote is that it says to maintain sacred the maternal period. So basically, when women are having their period, I know there have been men who have sex with their women when they're in their period. Now, Oahspe is telling you this is wrong. You're not supposed to do that. The book of Extra, chapter 42, verse 6. The book of Extra, chapter 42, verse 6. The Asians were therefore a separate people. They're talking about the group that where Yahshua grew up from. The English equivalent that is Joshua. The Asians were therefore a separate people, pledged to Jehovah to have no king or earth ruler except their rabbi, or rabbi will be teacher, and they dwell in communities and families of 10, 20s, and 100s, holding all things in common. Yes, but in marriage they were monogamic. You see that one more time? It's basically one time marriage. That's it. Nor would they have more than one suit of clothes each, and they lived on fruits and herbs only. Nor did they eat nor did they eat fish or flesh of anything that ever breathed the breath of life. And they bathed every morning at sunrise, and worshipped before the altar of Jehovah, knowing all things in the manner of the ancient faiths. By virtue of angels who were with them, did they this, and they had communions with the angels every night before going to sleep. What I want you to drive on this verse 6 is that it says, but in marriage they were monogamic. So even the Asians, which are the people who come from the southern part of Africa, Nazareth, Jerusalem, were actually Asians. Oahspe decode them as people of Canaanites. I did a video explaining and decoding and expounding and explaining how the group of a particular group of Israelites came from a certain part of Africa, which in today's world they are known as Botswana, Namibia, South Africa. That's where the Asians came from, and they were called the Asians. Now, another interesting verse is the book of Extra. The book of Extra, chapter 44, verse 12. The book of Extra, chapter 44, verse 12. Verse 12. The man shall only have one wife, and the woman only one husband. This is interesting because you see how the people who follow the Creator's commandment, they were told to only have one wife and one woman. You see, that's it. So if you're a woman, one husband. If you're a man, one wife. That's it. Nothing about divorce here, okay? Now, this is a controversial video, and my spirit was poking me to do the video. And I've been trying to ignore it because I know it's a very controversial, but part of my path or destiny is to provide the teaching from what the Oahspe says. The book of Judgment, chapter 38, verse 6. You would not profit by the wisdom of ages. The book of Judgment, chapter 38, verse 6. You would not profit by the wisdom of ages. I had held up my hand and said, one wife, one husband. Okay? This is juicy, and a baby born yesterday, we understand this without a need to ask a teacher or to ask a parent, what does this mean? It's clear. It says one wife, one husband. Book of Extra, chapter 44, verse 12, says it again. The man shall only have one wife. The woman, only one husband. And if we're to go to the book of, finally, the book of Judgment, chapter 39, verses 2 to 4, the book of Judgment, chapter 39, verses 2 to 4, and it shall come to pass that many will desire to marry, and it shall be granted to them to choose among their own people. You see, this verse 2 is interesting though, among their own people. This is interesting. What does that mean, their own people? You know, I do not advocate for you. I'm not saying you cannot marry outside of your home people, okay? But I find this very interesting. Though we are the amalgamated race, but this here says it shall be granted to you to choose among your own people and marry whom they will. You see how Oahspe not cleared up? And whom they will. But it shall be a law that no man, verse 3, But it shall be a law that no man or woman shall marry more than one time. Okay? This is very clear. Verse 4. Whether the partner dies, this is the interesting verse. Whether the partner dies or whether they divorce themselves, yet none other shall either wed ever again. Verse 4 is clearly saying, your partner died, you cannot marry. You divorce, you cannot do it again. Now, when we look at the society today, I know this is a bone of contention, and this is going to be a lot of argument. This will bring war amongst other people who don't believe this. Now, you got the people who study the Torah. You got people who study the Holy Bible, the King James Bible. Now we got the Ethiopian Bible. You've got the Oahspe. You've got the Mormon book. There are tons of, you even have the Indian book, right? So, the Vedic. You're going to have a lot of people say, oh, no, I don't agree. Yeah, that's up to you. But what Oahspe is saying clearly, without sugarcoating, is that you could only marry one time. And if you have a wife, and if you do divorce, then you cannot marry again. You know? So this is what Oahspe says. I am just here to provide that information and show people, show the society, and show religion that divorce is not allowed one. And if you do divorce, then you cannot marry again. Now, if your partner, your wife, your spouse dies, then you cannot marry again. This is clear. And I know some Hebrew Israelites who want to argue that out. You've got some Christians who say that their book, their extra Bible, their Tanakh, their King James Bible, did not explicitly say this. There are instances where it does say that, right? But then they're going to want to argue because they will go to the New Testament and create another confusion out of that. But yeah, you have it, brothers and sisters. What does Oahspe say about marriage? Clearly states and says that it is one woman, one husband. One husband, one woman. If your partner dies, if your spouse dies, you cannot marry again. Okay? And if you do divorce, you cannot remarry again. Let me just go to that verse one more time, because it's the book of Judgment, okay? Chapter 39, verse 4. It says again, and let me read it again. Book of Judgment, chapter 39, verses 3 to 4. But it shall be a law that no man or woman shall marry more than one time, whether the partner dies or whether they divorce themselves, yet none shall either wed ever again. Okay? He didn't say maybe after 10 years, you know, if you're getting horny, if your stuff down there is getting horny. He didn't say that. It clearly stated you cannot marry again. So yeah, you have it, brothers and sisters. This is what Oahspe says about marriage. Light and peace, brothers and sisters. Bye-bye now. Until the next video, please subscribe to my video. I have upcoming videos coming up. Subscribe to my YouTube video so you can learn from the spiritual book, the Oahspe.